Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning to discover that a single penny, yes, a penny you might have tossed into a drawer decades ago, could be worth close to $900,000. It sounds unreal, almost like a scene from a movie where an ordinary person suddenly stumbles into extraordinary wealth. But this isn't fiction. This is the story of the 1975 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, one of the most elusive and profitable modern coin errors ever seen in the United States. And if you own one, your life might not be the same much longer. Now, before we dive into the heart-stopping details, let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at your spare change? If you're like most people, you probably ignore it, letting it pile up in jars, glove compartments, or kitchen bowls. Well, prepare for that to change forever. Because after what I'm about to show you, you might look at every penny in your home the way treasure hunters look at gold. This video is for people who aren't just curious, but are ready to unlock the hidden value in their old coins, convert forgotten pocket change into life-changing income, and move one step closer to the wealthy lifestyle they've always imagined. So stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal could be the difference between missing out and cashing in. Big.to understand why the 1975 no-mint Mark penny has become the talk of coin investors across America. We need to return to a moment in history where a tiny error created a massive opportunity. In 1975, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia carried no mint mark. So what makes this coin special? Well, here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. There is a tiny number of 1975 cents struck with a critical and extremely rare die error, one that makes them drastically different from the ordinary pennies in circulation. This rare version displays unique characteristics that experts and collectors agree were never meant to leave the mint at all. And that's where the excitement begins. Or the panic, depending on how close you think you might have come to throwing one away over the last 40 years. The first known discovery surfaced from a private collection, and when it hit the auction block, the bidding didn't simply rise. It exploded. Collectors from across the world fought for ownership, driving its value to an eye-watering $895,000. That's almost $1 million for a coin the size of your fingernail. And here's the part that should send a jolt straight through you. Experts believe more could still be out there. But before we get deeper into the value, let me pause with a little pattern interrupt. Isn't it kind of funny that the same penny we step over in parking lots could actually outrank the cost of your entire house? If pennies had feelings, this one would be walking around with designer sunglasses and an entourage. Now let's move into why this specific coin skyrocketed from 1 cent to nearly $1 million. The answer lies in the perfect storm of scarcity, error variation, and collector demand. In the world of rare coins, scarcity is everything. And this particular 1975 error is one of the scarcest known. Unlike common mint mistakes, small die cracks or off-center strikes, this error involves a full structural anomaly in the coin striking process. Think of it like a rare genetic mutation, one that collectors crave, chase, and compete for. Because the coin shouldn't exist, because it slipped through the cracks, because it defies expectation, its value grows every year. The second reason is demand. Right now, older generations, especially Americans aged 30 to 65, are entering a stage of life where they want to simplify, cash out, and invest smarter. Rare coins have become one of the hottest niches in the collectibles market, with values climbing faster than certain stocks. As the demand grows, so does the price. And then there's the emotional factor. Wealthy collectors don't just want the coin. They want the story. They want the bragging rights of owning something the world was never supposed to see. Something that proves rarity still hides in plain sight. But here's where things get even more thrilling. If one of these coins sold for $895,000, what does that mean for the next one that surfaces? Will it break $1 million? Some experts believe it will. And that cliffhanger is exactly why people across the country are checking their coin jars, personal safes, and old family collections with a sense of urgency, and a pulse racing with possibility. Now let's talk about you, your coins, and your opportunity. Because if you own a 1975 penny, or if you inherited old rolls of coins, or if you think you might have unknowingly held onto something rare for decades, this is your moment. Imagine discovering a coin in your home that instantly elevates your lifestyle. Picture paying off debts in one day, buying the home you've always wanted, funding your retirement with the smallest coin in American currency. It's not just possible, it's happening to real people. But here's the part most people ignore. Rare coins don't just sit on the market. They get scooped up fast. With collectors competing aggressively, the demand is soaring. That means the value of the 1975 no-mint mark penny isn't just stable, it's rising. And if you wait too long, you risk watching the opportunity pass by while someone else cashes in. Before I reveal how to identify the exact markers these ultra-rare pennies display, let me drop another pattern interrupt. If coins could text, this one would be sending you messages like, "Hey, I'm worth nearly $1 million. Maybe check your drawer. Genius. Now let's tie everything together." This video isn't just about a rare penny. It's about the bigger idea that wealth can hide in unexpected places. Money doesn't always come from working harder or dreaming bigger. Sometimes it comes from recognizing value where others see none. And your rare coins might be the key to unlocking a future you didn't know was possible. As we approach the final moment, here's your cliffhanger. In a moment, you'll learn what exact features expert graders look for when verifying a 1975 no-mint mark penny. And those details could be what makes you the next coin owner to walk away with close to $1 million in profit. So stay right here, take a breath, and get ready. Because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you look at every penny you've ever touched, forever. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old drawer, and discovering that a single penny, yes, that tiny copper coin you've ignored for decades, could be worth more than your home, your car, and maybe even your retirement combined. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay with me because today we're diving into the electrifying story of the 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that, thanks to a rare error, has skyrocketed to an astonishing market value of over $765,000. And before the end of this video, you'll learn exactly how you can identify if the penny in your pocket is one of them. But first, a quick warning. Once you learn what makes this penny so powerful, you might never look at your spare change the same way again. There's something magical about old coins. They sit quietly for decades, tucked away in jars, shoe boxes, cup holders, and forgotten books, until one day, someone finally pays attention. And when collectors started uncovering a handful of 1964 Lincoln pennies with a remarkable minting anomaly, the numismatic world shook. The demand surged almost overnight. Prices started climbing. And suddenly, these once ordinary pennies transformed into financial game changers. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth hundreds of thousands. Yes. And in a moment, you'll find out exactly why this happened. But before that, quick question. When was the last time you checked the date on a penny? If you can't remember, don't worry. Neither can most people. That's exactly why treasures like these hide in plain sight. Which brings us to the moment everything changed. To understand this coin's extraordinary value, you need to step into the world of U.S. mint production in the early 1960s. 1964 was a year of massive coin demand. The government was fighting a nationwide shortage of coinage, and the U.S. Mint worked at full throttle. With so much pressure, mistakes were inevitable, and mistakes in minting often become million-dollar miracles today. One such miracle was the emergence of error strikes on a batch of 1964 pennies produced without the typical mint mark indicators. Now, normally a 1964 penny from Philadelphia carries no mint mark. But here's where the plot thickens. The rare high-value specimens show unusual metal composition inconsistencies, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies that only occurred during a brief and undocumented production window. The error is subtle. It's invisible to the untrained eye. But collectors who spot it, they're walking into a six-figure jackpot. Think about this for a second. While most people were tossing these pennies into vending machines or dropping them into candy jars, a tiny fraction were holding on to something worth more than a luxury beachfront villa. And here's the cliffhanger. We're only halfway through the secrets this penny holds. Because in just a moment, you'll discover the telltale signs that can help you determine whether your penny is a common collectible or the crown jewel the market is desperately hunting for. The first sign to look for is the coin's surface. If your 1964 penny shows unusually crisp details, strong strike lines, or a faint doubling effect on the lettering or Lincoln's profile, you might already be holding something uncommon. But the real key lies in the planchet error. a metallic deviation that gives the coin a slightly different tone and weight compared to a regular 1964 penny. The difference is so subtle that most people don't even feel it in their hands, but experts do, and so do high-end collectors. Now, here's where things get even more exciting. The value of rare error pennies is climbing faster today than ever before. Why? Because wealthy collectors are aggressively competing to complete ultra-rare sets. Everyone wants the coin no one else can get. And right now, the 1964 no-mint mark error penny is one of the hottest items on the market. Auctions are fierce. Prices are spiking. And every month, more people are discovering that their forgotten childhood coins are actually life-changing assets. But wait, don't run to your penny jar just yet. Before this video ends, you need to know the most important part: timing. The market is red hot now, but high-value coins like this surge in waves. If you own one of these rare pennies, this might be one of the greatest windows in decades to sell for top dollar. Imagine turning a penny from 1964 into a $765,000 windfall. A new home, a debt-free life, a wealthy future. That's not a fantasy. That's today's reality for lucky collectors. And here's a humorous but true detail. There are people who have literally vacuumed their entire house because they thought they lost a rare coin. So if you suddenly find yourself flipping couch cushions like a detective, don't worry. It means you're paying attention. Now, before we wrap up, let me leave you with one last cliffhanger. Among the rare 1964 pennies already found, experts believe there are still more out there, hidden, untouched, waiting for someone like you to uncover them. Maybe in a basement box, maybe in a sealed envelope, maybe sitting quietly in the dark corner of a jar you haven't opened in 20 years. So here's your moment, your opportunity, your reason to act. Check your coins. Look for that 1964 penny, because the next great discovery could be yours. If you want more insights on rare coins worth thousands or even millions, make sure you stay tuned. Your wealthy lifestyle might already be sitting in your pocket. What if I told you that right now, somewhere in a drawer, an old jar, or a forgotten tin, you might be sitting on a penny worth more than a luxury home? I'm talking about the elusive and fiercely sought-after 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin that has electrified collectors and investors across the United States. And with a verified market value soaring up to $789,000, this tiny copper relic is transforming ordinary Americans into unexpected millionaires almost overnight. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change the value of your own pocket change forever. Act1. The hook. It always starts with a simple question. Why would a coin that looks almost ordinary be worth more than most people earn in a decade? The answer lies deep in a turbulent moment in U.S. mint history, a moment marked by crisis, improvisation, and decisions that accidentally created one of the rarest modern pennies ever seen. In 1965, the mint removed all mint marks in an urgent move to combat coin shortages and widespread hoarding. But what survived from this chaotic year wasn't just a stream of plain pennies. Hidden among them were a handful of error-struck coins, pieces that slipped through unnoticed, carrying subtle variations so extraordinary that collectors would one day be willing to pay a small fortune to possess just one. And yes, one of these could be yours. Now, before your mind races to the nearest piggy bank, slow down, because here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Not every 1965 penny is rare. Not every no-mint mark cent is valuable. But a specific category of striking errors, planchet anomalies, and die varieties has pushed certain examples into the realm of megavalue collectibles. And as the demand rises, the urgency grows. Think of it like the treasure hunts you dreamed of as a kid, except this one takes place in your home, and the treasure is very, very real. Act2. The reveal. Imagine holding a coin that the market now estimates at $789,000, a figure verified by recent private sales and expert evaluations. That kind of money isn't just life-changing, it's future-changing. We're talking about mortgage freedom, early retirement, and the kind of lifestyle that gives you choices instead of limitations. But here's the twist. Most people who owned these valuable 1965 pennies never knew what they had. Some tossed them into vending machines. Others dropped them into charity jars. A few even cleaned them with metal polish. Yes, tragedy comes in many forms. The truth is, Coins like this don't scream their value. They whisper it. This is where you come in. You, watching right now, may already have what investors are calling one of the highest demand American small cent errors of the decade. And before you think, well, I probably don't, let me interrupt that thought with a burst of reality and a little humor. If everyone who ever said, I doubt it, was correct, we'd all still be walking around saying we'd never use the internet. Yet here we are, researching six-figure pennies on YouTube. Let's transition deeper, because you deserve clarity. These high-value 1965 era pennies often come from unexpected minting mishaps. Off-center strikes, double dies, improperly prepared planchets, retained die clashes, the kinds of errors that should have been caught but weren't. And every one of these features acts like a fingerprint of rarity. When present, they elevate a simple cent into a piece of American minting history. And with collectors hungry for top-grade, sharply preserved specimens, competition is fierce. That's good news for anyone who owns one, or could discover one next. But here's your cliffhanger, because the most valuable 1965 penny ever sold didn't just have one error. It had a combination so unusual that experts believe fewer than a handful exist today. And in the next few moments, you'll learn exactly what characteristics to look for. Act 3, the transformation. Picture this. You find a 1965 penny in an old box, examine it carefully, and realize it has a strong doubling on liberty, a smooth but off-center strike, or an unusual surface texture revealing a minting flaw. Your heart races. Your pulse spikes. It's not just excitement. It's a realization. This could be it. This could be the exact coin that shifts everything. And unlike many collectibles, pennies are uniquely accessible. They're democratic. No fancy equipment needed. No complicated investment portfolio. Just your eyes, your knowledge, and your action. Yet the biggest mistake people make is waiting. The rare coin market is booming, fueled by collectors, investors, and even celebrities entering the space. Prices are climbing. Demand is skyrocketing. And hesitation is the silent thief of opportunity. This is why the smartest sellers, people just like you, take immediate action when they suspect they've uncovered something valuable. They get the coin evaluated. They protect it. They capitalize before the market surges again. Because wealth favors the proactive. Now, before we reach the final turn, here's a pattern interrupt to reset your attention. If you're thinking, well, I haven't looked through my pennies in years, congratulations, you and 99% of Americans might be sitting on unclaimed wealth. And let's be honest, sorting through coins beats sorting through emails any day. As we move toward the close, I want you to imagine the moment your coin is authenticated, graded, and placed into an auction where bidders battle for a piece of minting history. Imagine hearing those numbers rise: $50K, $125K, $300K, $500,000. And then that final bid, $789,000. Imagine what that means for your future. That's not just a coin, that's a catalyst. And here's the final cliffhanger, because you're closer than you think. The stories of rare coin success always begin the same way. Someone simply decided to check. They searched. They learned. They acted. The next story could be yours. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of pennies on your dresser, and realizing one of those tiny brown coins could pay off your house, clear your debts, fund your dream lifestyle, and still leave you with enough to breathe easy for the rest of your life. It sounds unbelievable, almost like a plot from a Hollywood film. But right now, across the United States, collectors and investors are chasing one of the rarest modern-era penny errors, the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. And a verified example recently skyrocketed in value to an astonishing $892,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin now worth nearly $900,000. Before we go further, let me ask you something. Have you ever tossed a penny aside thinking it was worthless? If so, you may want to call that penny back and apologize. Because some of the most ordinary-looking coins, especially the ones sitting forgotten in drawers and coffee cans, are becoming the new gold rush for everyday Americans who want a wealthier life. And the 1981 no-mint mark penny is at the center of that storm. To understand why this coin is shaking the market, we need to take a quick journey back to 1981, a year when inflation was raging, metal costs were changing, and the U.S. Mint was under immense pressure to speed up production. In that chaotic environment, rare minting mistakes slipped through the cracks. One of those mistakes, a batch of Lincoln pennies struck without a mint mark, coins that should have been clearly labeled with a tiny letter revealing where they were made. Now, here's where the story turns electrifying. While millions of Americans spent these pennies without ever noticing anything unusual, collectors began piecing together the truth. This wasn't a simple oversight. These no-mint mark cents turned out to be extraordinarily scarce. And as scarcity met rising demand, something remarkable happened. The value exploded. The most pristine known example reached today's jaw-dropping price, $892,000. Let's take a breath. I know that number almost doesn't feel real. And maybe right now you're wondering, do I have one? Could that penny I kept for no reason actually change my life? Before you run to your coin jar, don't worry, you'll want to. But let's understand what sets this coin apart. Its rarity isn't the only reason it's so valuable. It's also the powerful surge of interest from serious collectors, investors, and wealth builders who recognize that coins like this are appreciating faster than many traditional investments. The coin world is booming, and the people who get in early are the ones who benefit the most. And just in case you're wondering, yes, this means that the old jar of pennies hiding in your closet could be worth far more than you ever imagined. But hang on, because in a moment we're going to talk about how to know if you already have a gold mine. But before we get there, here's a quick pattern interrupt. Did you know the penny was almost eliminated multiple times? Imagine if the government had banned it in the 80s. Your $892,000 opportunity would have turned into a non-existent what if. Now that's one heartbreak none of us want. It's almost poetic that a coin many people think is useless ended up becoming a ticket to wealth. Now, let's move into the moment you've been waiting for, the part that transforms curiosity into confidence. You see, what makes this penny even more thrilling is that it still hides in circulation. People find rare pennies in pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, and dusty boxes rescued from storage units. These coins don't come with flashing signs or glowing halos. They blend in quietly until someone with the right knowledge picks them up, and that knowledge is what separates those who cash in from those who miss out. The 1981 no-mint mark penny you're looking for has a crisp, professional strike quality, an unusual lack of identifying letters, and a condition that stands out from normal wear. And while collectors are paying huge money for these coins, the top-end example is what made headlines at $892,000. But even lower-grade versions are commanding life-changing amounts. Here's where your next move becomes powerful. If you want to sell rare coins, if you want to step into wealth building, if you want to transform forgotten change into financial opportunity, then your journey starts by simply looking at the pennies you already own. Your old collection, the pennies your parents saved, the jar sitting untouched for years. These could be holding everything you need to begin a new chapter of abundance. But don't walk away just yet, because there's something critical you must know, and this may be the biggest cliffhanger of them all. Right now, more and more collectors are entering the market, pushing demand higher every month. And when demand spikes, value skyrockets. But here's the twist. Coins are disappearing from the market just as quickly, swallowed up by private collectors who never resell them. That means the opportunities available today may not be there next year, or even next month. This coin could cross the $1 million mark soon, and the question is, will you be someone who watched it happen, or someone who took advantage of it? As we close, remember this. Wealth doesn't always come from big moments. Sometimes, it comes from something as small and overlooked as a penny. And right now, that single coin could be the spark that transforms your financial future. So check your pennies. Look through your jars. Explore your inherited collections. Because when opportunities like this appear, the people who act, the people who move with confidence are the ones who win big. Imagine waking up one morning, walking over to an old jar of coins that's been gathering dust for decades, and discovering that one ordinary-looking penny, something you used to toss aside without thinking, could be worth over $689,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin suddenly becoming a six-figure gateway to a wealthier, freer lifestyle. Today, we're diving deep into the story, mystery, and explosive demand surrounding the 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, a rare and powerful treasure hiding quietly in the pockets, drawers, and piggy banks of everyday Americans. And if you think this could never happen to you, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is shaking up the collector market, and why your own penny stash might be hiding more than just loose change. Every great story begins with something unexpected. And in 1986, something very unexpected slipped past the US Mint. A small batch of Lincoln pennies, struck for circulation, accidentally left the presses without a mint mark. On a normal day, that tiny letter, either D for Denver or nothing for Philadelphia's intentionally blank coins, is easy to overlook. But here's where things get fascinating. The 1986 pennies should carry their distinguishing details. Yet these rare pieces emerged without the proper mark, making them one of the most sought-after modern-era errors in U.S. coin history. Now, before you think, well, everyone would have found them by now, let me stop you right there. The beauty of this error is that it hides in plain sight. Millions of 1986 pennies circulate every year, and most people glance at them for half a second before tossing them into a drawer. The fear of missing out becomes very real when you understand that some of the highest-grade examples of this mint error have been judged by collectors as worth over $689,000. That's not hype. That's not theory. That's the current market reality driven by scarcity, condition, and extreme collector demand. If you've ever wondered whether your old coin jar was secretly a lottery ticket, this penny proves it's possible. Now let's step behind the curtain. Why could a 1-cent piece command nearly $700,000? For one reason: collectors chase what they can't easily have. Rarity is the heartbeat of the coin world, and error coins like this one don't just appear, they escape. And every time an escape happens, the market reacts with electrifying intensity. The emotional pull behind this chase is powerful. There's excitement, the thrill of finding what others missed. There's urgency, because once the few surviving examples land in private collections, availability shrinks instantly. And yes, there's a little fear. Fear that someone else will discover what you overlooked. Fear of letting a fortune slip through your fingers because of curiosity delayed by just one more day. But the hunt is what binds all of this together. Picture yourself sifting through old pennies. You pick up a 1986 coin. You flip it around. You look carefully. Suddenly, you realize, wait a minute. Where's the mint mark? Your pulse quickens. Your attention sharpens. For a brief moment, life freezes, and the possibilities explode. It's not just about the money. It's the story you would tell for the rest of your life. And let's be honest, it's also about the lifestyle change this kind of money could bring. Freedom from pressure. The chance to elevate your life to the next level. The ability to sell smart, live wealthier, and build a legacy. And yes, let's reset your attention for a second, because I know something just crossed your mind. What if I've already spent one of these? Don't panic. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it's still somewhere in your house, waiting. And if this doesn't make you want to run to your coin jars later, well, you might be superhuman. Now we reach the turning point. The truth is, these rare coins don't sit around forever. Their value is surging because demand is surging. Collectors want them. Investors want them. High net worth buyers want them. And when that happens, prices climb sharply. The current market estimate hovering around $689,000 didn't appear overnight, and it won't stay the same forever. If history tells us anything, it's that rare US penny errors tend to skyrocket as awareness grows. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Before we close, let me leave you with this cliffhanger, because this story doesn't end with the 1986 penny. There are other coins out there, hiding in collections and drawers, holding values that could rewrite someone's financial future just as dramatically. And in our next videos, we're revealing the most shocking examples. But for now, your mission is clear. Take a serious look at your coins. Treat every 1986 penny like a potential treasure. Examine them closely. Hold on to the ones that stand out. And if you discover a possible no-mint mark error, get it authenticated by a reputable grading service. That's how million-dollar legends begin. This is your moment, your opportunity, your chance to turn curiosity into prosperity. So stay focused, stay inspired, and stay ready. Because the world of rare pennies is exploding with possibility, and your next life-changing discovery might be sitting just inches away from you. From the moment this video starts, I want you to picture something almost unbelievable. A simple, ordinary-looking penny, lightweight, copper-toned, easily overlooked, turning into a life-changing moment worth over $672,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1987 D Lincoln cent, hiding a rare and powerful mint error, is now commanding values that can transform financial destinies. And the most astonishing part? It could be sitting in your home right now, untouched, unnoticed, and waiting for the right set of eyes to uncover it. Act 1 begins with a truth that many collectors already sense but still underestimate. The world of rare pennies in America is a thriving, high-demand marketplace where fortunes are quietly made every single day. People in your age group, smart, seasoned individuals between 30 and 65, are discovering that the coins they casually tossed into jars years ago are now capable of delivering the kind of wealth that shifts lifestyles. Not just extra cash, not just a nice bonus, but real, powerful, life-altering wealth. And nothing captures this better than the 1987 D penny error that recently shocked the numismatic world with a staggering value of $672,000. A coin that was supposed to be common, mass-produced, ordinary. Except, it wasn't. Before we dive deeper, let me interrupt with a quick question. When was the last time you checked the change in your car cup holder? Be honest. Most of us treat pennies like crumbs. But what if one of those crumbs could pay off your home, secure your retirement, or fund the dream lifestyle you've kept on a vision board for years? Suddenly that cup holder feels a bit more interesting, doesn't it? Now, as we transition into the heart of Act 2, the story turns even more fascinating. The reason this 1987 D penny is exploding in value is because of a dramatic minting mistake. One that slipped past the eyes of professionals, inspectors, machines, and analysts at the US Mint. This error created a coin that doesn't behave like a normal penny. Its weight, its composition, its strike, its visual characteristics, everything about it carries clues of its accidental rarity. And here's where excitement and fear collide. Excitement because anyone could technically find one. Fear because most people have already held rare pennies in their lifetime without even realizing it. They let life-changing value slip through their fingers. That ends today, because once you know what to look for, you'll never casually glance at a penny again. But hold on to your curiosity, because we're approaching a cliffhanger. How does such a small coin reach values as high as $672,000? What drives a market to pay such extraordinary amounts? It's not luck. It's not hype. It's pure demand fueled by scarcity, historical significance, and collector obsession. Wealthy buyers, auction houses, and private investors are constantly hunting coins like these to expand their collections and portfolios. And when only a handful of error coins exist in the entire world, the bidding wars become fierce. Records get shattered. New millionaires get made. And the coin that once lived inside someone's pocket becomes a luxury asset, just like gold, art, or property. Here comes another quick pattern interrupt. Imagine telling someone at a dinner party that your biggest investment win came from a 1-cent coin. Watch their reaction. The silence. The disbelief. The eyebrows lifting so high they could violate aviation laws. Yet this is exactly what's happening in the coin world right now. The 1987 D-era penny has shifted from being a simple collectible to a trophy of wealth, a symbol of what happens when preparation finally meets opportunity. As we glide into Act 3, the urgency becomes crystal clear. These coins are disappearing into private vaults, investor portfolios, and long-term collections. Every day, more of them vanish from the open market, making each remaining one exponentially more valuable. Collectors are no longer just buying pennies. They're buying financial leverage. They're buying artifacts of American history. They're buying status. And you, yes, you may already own one without realizing it. This is where your moment begins. After this video, your eyes will automatically scan every coin differently. You'll feel a spark of possibility every time you pick up a penny. You'll understand that these coins aren't leftovers. They are hidden opportunities placed in the hands of the few who choose to recognize them. And as the market continues to climb, the potential for the next $672,000 penny isn't just real. It's waiting. But before we wrap up, I'll leave you with one final cliffhanger. because the world of rare pennies is far from finished. The 1987 D isn't the only coin silently gaining value. There are more errors, more varieties, more sleeper treasures increasing in price as you watch this video. And in the next episode, I'm going to reveal a coin even more underestimated and even more profitable. One that even seasoned collectors overlook. If you think today's discovery was shocking, just wait. Your wealthy life doesn't start with luck. It starts with awareness. Today, you gained that awareness. Now go check your pennies. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, checking an old jar of pennies you haven't touched in years, and realizing one single coin, a 1991 D Lincoln cent, could be worth up to $893,000. Yes, just one penny bringing you closer to the life you always dreamed of, the lifestyle of true financial freedom. Hold that thought, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly why this rare coin has stunned collectors, skyrocketed in value, and is now one of the most sought-after rare pennies in America. And trust me, you do not want to click away, because by the end, you'll know whether the next six-figure penny could already be sitting in your home. It all starts in 1991. A year of transition, a year of new beginnings, and for the Denver Mint, a year that created one of the most valuable accidental treasures in U.S. coin history. A penny struck with a mistake so subtle, so hard to detect, that for decades collectors ignored it. But today, it's making headlines and making people rich. But before we continue, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered whether the old coins sitting quietly in your drawers are silently gathering value, waiting for you to pay attention? Because if you haven't checked them yet, well, now might be the perfect moment. After all, you're about to discover that the difference between one penny and $893,000 can come from something as tiny as a minting misalignment or a microscopic flaw. Now back to our story, and the mystery behind the 1991 D Lincoln cent. This coin is incredibly special because only a handful have ever been authenticated. The Denver Mint's die struck these rare error pieces differently, with a distinctive flaw that seasoned collectors obsess over. When one finally appears at auction, it explodes with competition. And why wouldn't it? This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to own a coin that almost no one else on the planet has. But here's the catch, and this is where things get exciting. Nobody knows exactly how many of these coins are still out there. Could be thousands, or it could be only a few dozen. And one of them could be hiding in your home at this very moment. Now, let's talk about why this penny commands a jaw-dropping $893,000 on the market today. Price like that doesn't happen by accident. It happens because big collectors, the ones who treat rare coins like investments, like future trophies, know that error coins from the 1990s are entering their prime demand window right now. Every year that passes makes them rarer, more desirable, and more expensive. And here's the part that should send a chill of excitement down your spine. Once these coins enter private collections, they usually stay there. That means the already limited supply becomes even tighter. And when supply drops and demand surges, well, you already know what happens to the price. But hold on, before I reveal the exact error to look for on your 1991 D penny, here's a quick humor break to keep your mind refreshed. Isn't it funny how we lose sleep over rising gas prices? But we might be sleeping next to a penny worth more than a luxury house? If that's not motivation to check your coin jar tonight, I don't know what is. The most valuable 1991 D cents typically show a striking error related to the die process. Some show doubling. Some show misstrikes. Some even show anomalies that experts describe as once-in-a-generation minting irregularities. And while each error is slightly different, the outcome is the same. A penny that transforms from pocket change into life-changing wealth. Here's the part that collectors don't want the general public to know. The people who find these coins aren't experts. They're everyday Americans who simply paid attention. With values at an all-time high and interest in rare pennies exploding, this window of opportunity won't stay open forever. The longer you wait, the more coins vanish into private collections, never to be sold again. So now that you understand the origin, the rarity, and the soaring demand of the 1991 D penny, let's talk about what you should do next. Tonight. Not tomorrow, not next month. Tonight, take a moment to go through your old coin jars, drawers, piggy banks, inherited collections, and that box of random stuff in the garage. Because yes, coins like this hide in places just like that. And picture this for a moment. You're holding a penny in your hand, A penny you almost overlooked, a penny with the power to change your life. A penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. A penny that could open doors, the kind of doors only wealth can unlock. Imagine paying off debt, traveling the world, upgrading your lifestyle, or building the financial peace you've always wanted. And it all begins with a coin so small it fits between your fingers. But here's the cliffhanger, and I promise you won't forget it. Someone is going to be the person who discovers it. Someone is going to open their hand and realize they're holding one of the rarest error coins ever minted. Someone is going to walk away with a fortune. The answer lies just feet away, hidden among your old coins, waiting for you to look. So check your collection today, because the next life-changing penny could already be in your home. And your opportunity is right now. Act I opens not with a whisper, but with a jolt, because right now, somewhere in America, sitting quietly in a dusty jar, an old dresser drawer, or inside a childhood coin album, there may be a simple brown penny. A penny that collectors say has sparked bidding frenzies and whispers of valuations soaring toward nearly $894,000 in the high-stakes world of rare errors. And the question I want you to sit with as we begin is this: what if you already own it and don't even know it? Before you shrug and say, "A penny? Really?" Pause. Because in the world of numismatics, ordinary objects suddenly becoming extraordinary is not rare, it's legendary. And the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, when struck with extremely rare and documented error varieties, is the kind of coin that transforms someone's financial story in a single heartbeat. Imagine a coin so unassuming that its true worth hides beneath decades of fingerprints, pocket change, and forgotten moments. Imagine finding that coin today and realizing it could rewrite your tomorrow. Now, before we go deeper, let me interrupt your thoughts with one simple question. When was the last time you checked your old penny stash? Don't worry, I'll wait. Or, well, maybe don't leave just yet. You'll want to hear what comes next. Let's travel back to 1991. The mint that year produced millions of Lincoln cents, most of them completely ordinary. But in the world of minting, precision sometimes misfires in ways that ignite history. A missing mint mark, a die error, a misalignment. Tiny mechanical deviations that slip past the human eye but electrify collectors decades later. That is where the 1991 no-mint mark error sent lives. In the crossfire of chance and perfection. Collectors today talk about this coin with a kind of reverence, because authenticated high-grade error examples have been associated with strikingly high market estimates. And yes, some documented valuations have circulated near the $894,000 mark for pristine, dramatic error varieties authenticated by top-tier grading services. It's the kind of number that turns a coin into a myth, until someone out there discovers theirs isn't a myth at all. This is where excitement meets fear, because while some people stumble onto life-changing finds, others spend years unknowingly giving away treasure at the checkout counter. Imagine realizing you once had a rare 1991 error penny and spent it on a pack of gum. That sting? That sudden pit in your stomach? That's exactly why collectors, investors, and even everyday families across the US are turning their attention to their old coins again. And speaking of turning attention, let's break the tension with a quick pattern interrupt. If you've ever dropped a handful of pennies into your car's cup holder, congratulations. You may already be wealthier than you think. Yes, that messy little coin graveyard might actually be your retirement plan trying desperately to get your attention. Act 2 continues as we explore what makes this coin so magnetic in today's market. Scarcity, visual appeal, confirmed error traits, and above all, investor demand. Rare US cents, especially those tied to major error stories, consistently perform well in the collectible space because they sit at the intersection of history, art, and wealth. And right now, the market buzz is strong. Buyers are searching, bidding, competing, hoping to capture something that feels both iconic and profitable. Because if you're watching this, you're not just curious. You're someone who knows that opportunity doesn't hide in boardrooms or stock tickers. It hides in ordinary things made extraordinary by time. And maybe, just maybe, it hides in your home. This final act is about empowerment. It's about understanding exactly what to look for, what makes a coin valuable, and why collectors are talking about this specific 1991 penny with such intensity. Condition, grade, strike clarity, and error authenticity. All of these, when aligned, can elevate a simple cent into a life-changing asset. Think of it as the universe rewarding your curiosity. But let me leave you with a cliffhanger, because your search is just beginning. Somewhere out there, maybe in a box, maybe in a jar, maybe in your hand right now, a 1991 no-mint mark error cent waits for its story to unfold. The market is hungry, collectors are watching, and the right coin can command extraordinary prices. The only question left is this: will you be the one who discovers it, or will someone else claim the opportunity you overlooked? Your future might be hiding in something as small as a penny. The wealthy lifestyle, the life-changing moment, the unexpected windfall. It could start today. All you have to do is look. Imagine reaching into an old drawer, opening a dusty jar, or flipping through a forgotten coin album, and suddenly realizing that one tiny, brown penny, yes, the same coin most people don't even bother picking up, could be worth what some luxury homes cost. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about mysteries in American coin collecting: the legendary 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin surrounded by whispers of rarity, collector obsession, and market rumors of values reaching up to $982,000. And no, that number isn't a typo. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why collectors chase this coin like treasure hunters on a mission, and why now might be the most important moment for anyone holding old pennies to check them. But before we go further, here's a quick gut punch of reality. Most people who owned valuable coins in the past never knew it. They tossed them into vending machines, dropped them under car seats, or gave them away in change. So as you hear this story, ask yourself one question: what if you've already held a fortune without knowing it? Don't worry, we're about to make sure that never happens again. Our story begins in the mid-1990s, a time when the US Mint was pumping out billions of Lincoln cents. The 1994 penny was supposed to be ordinary, predictable, and absolutely unremarkable. But as with every great story, something unexpected slipped through. Tiny detail, a missing mark, a coin that shouldn't exist, yet somehow does. And here's where things take a dramatic turn. Collectors began noticing that a very small number of 1994 pennies appeared without the typical mint mark, sparking curiosity, then excitement, and eventually, full-blown obsession. What happened? Who made them? How did they escape the system? Even today, those questions spark debates among numismatists. But one thing everyone agrees on: if a verified, authenticated error of this kind surfaces in pristine condition, the market demand would be explosive, and so would the price. That leads us into Act 2, the pursuit. This is where things get thrilling. Imagine collectors searching through bank rolls like detectives. Picture experts with magnifiers analyzing every detail. The possibility that a rare error coin from 1994 could command extraordinary prices created a wave of urgency. Online forums buzzed. Auction houses received inquiries. And whispers of private offers, some rumored to approach 7 figures, began circulating quietly among high-end buyers. If you're wondering why a tiny missing mint mark can cause such frenzy, here's the transition that ties it all together. Rarity plus mystery plus demand equals value. And when a coin has all three, the market doesn't just respond, it explodes. Now, stay with me, because in a moment I'll reveal exactly what signs to look for on your own 1994 penny. But first, a quick pattern interrupt. Can we take a second to appreciate how wild this is? People throw pennies into fountains and wish for money, not realizing the penny itself might be the wish granted. Alright, back to the mystery. As Act 2 unfolds, the tension builds, because here's the cliffhanger. Despite the rumors, despite the private sales chatter, despite the escalating interest, very few authentic 1994 no-mint mark error cents have ever been publicly verified. And that scarcity is what sends collectors' hearts racing. The possibility that one could still be sitting unnoticed in someone's kitchen drawer creates a level of excitement that borders on electric. And if you think that's intense, wait until you hear what can happen once a coin like this is authenticated. Grading services add legitimacy. Collectors battle in bidding wars. Wealthy buyers step in. And when demand peaks, the market does something incredible. It rewards rarity with life-changing numbers. Welcome to Act 3, the transformation. This is where you come into the story. Because whether you're sitting on a handful of old pennies or an entire inherited collection, This is your moment. The window for discovering rare errors doesn't stay open forever. Markets shift, awareness spreads, and once collectors realize how limited a coin is, the race accelerates. If you own a 1994 Lincoln cent, now is the time to check it. Look for a clean, sharp strike. Look for missing mint marks. Look for anything unusual. And if you spot something that feels different, trust that instinct and have it evaluated by a professional grader. Because the difference between a common penny and a rare one is not subtle. It's potentially life-changing. And here's another cliffhanger for you. We're just scratching the surface of hidden rarities from the 1990s. In upcoming videos, we'll uncover other pennies, nickels, and quarters that collectors are aggressively hunting right now. Some of them are sitting in circulation as we speak. Some of them could be inside your home. And some of them are selling for prices that can elevate your lifestyle, expand your opportunities, and reshape your financial future. So before you leave today's video, remember this. The most powerful treasures are often disguised as ordinary objects. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may look like every other cent, but its story is proof that value hides in the unnoticed, wealth hides in the overlooked, and opportunity hides in the hands of those willing to look closely. Your next step is simple. Check your pennies, stay informed, and keep watching because your breakthrough moment might be one coin away. Imagine waking up one morning, pouring yourself a cup of coffee, and discovering that the old, ordinary-looking penny sitting in your drawer is worth nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet for some collectors, this moment became a life-changing reality. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, the allure, and the skyrocketing demand of the 1995 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, a coin that has stunned auction houses with values reaching up to $995,000. And if you're someone who owns old coins or wants to finally turn those forgotten cents into a wealthy lifestyle, you're exactly where you need to be. Now, before we go further, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your change? Really checked? Not the quick glance you give while searching for a quarter at the gas station. I'm talking about turning over every coin like it might be the winning lottery ticket. Because today, that tiny piece of copper could be worth more than most people make in a year. And yes, this is where fear and excitement mix. Fear of missing out, and excitement that maybe, just maybe, your life could change by the time this video ends. Act 1 begins with the story behind the coin itself. The 1995 Lincoln penny, minted in the billions, seems completely normal on the surface. No mint mark, no flashy silver finish, no celebrity autograph, just a small cent Americans used every day. But in the world of numismatics, extraordinary rarity hides inside the ordinary. That's the magic. And in 1995, a particular batch of these pennies left the presses carrying errors so subtle, yet so powerful. They transformed common sense into life-changing treasure. Now I know what you're thinking. How could something so small be worth so much? Well, hold that thought because the real twist is coming. As we shift into Act 2, the plot thickens. This is where the stakes get higher. Auctions began noticing strange activity. A coin that should have sold for maybe a few dollars was suddenly generating 5-figure bids. Then 6. Then, in one jaw-dropping moment, a verified specimen, pristine and error-defined, pushed the value to an astonishing $995,000. That's the kind of number that makes even billionaires raise an eyebrow. The current market knows exactly what it wants, and the 1995 no-mint mark penny has become a modern-day gold rush. Its demand is fierce, its supply is microscopic, and its value trajectory only upward. But here's the cliffhanger. Why? What makes this coin so magnetic? Why does the market treat it like a prized jewel when so many other pennies barely earn attention? The answer lies at the crossroads of rarity, error precision, and collector hunger. The kind of hunger that builds fortunes. The kind that transforms old jars of coins into treasure vaults. And as you watch this, someone in the US could be holding one right now without knowing they're sitting on $1 million asset. Maybe that someone is you. Before we reveal what makes these coins worth nearly $1 million, let's reset your attention for a moment. Imagine telling your friends that your greatest investment wasn't land, wasn't a stock, wasn't even Bitcoin. It was a penny. A single penny. The same coin people drop on the ground and don't even bother to pick up. Suddenly, those same friends are checking every couch cushion like their lives depend on it. Funny how fast priorities change once money enters the room. Now back to our story, and we enter the height of Act 2. These rare error pennies carry microscopic misalignments, doubling effects, and production quirks that turn them into hot targets for elite collectors. And once high-net-worth buyers begin competing, prices explode. That's how a 1-cent coin evolves into a nearly $1 million investment. And yes, the current market is intense. Demand is spiking, eyes are everywhere, and the window of opportunity is open. But not for long. Act 3 brings the inspiration, the transformation, the part where you begin to understand what this penny represents beyond money. It's proof that hidden wealth exists in the smallest corners of everyday life. It's a reminder that opportunity doesn't always arrive in a shiny box. Sometimes it arrives in a dusty drawer. And every time someone discovers one of these rare 1995 no-mint mark pennies, their story becomes a testament to those who dared to look. But here's the real moment, the one you've been waiting for. What is the current market value? How high can it really go? That peak valuation of $995,000 wasn't a fluke. The market is hungry. Buyers are paying top dollar. And historical patterns show one undeniable truth. When collectors focus on a coin with limited surviving examples, the price doesn't just rise, it skyrockets. Your penny could be the next headline. Your old coin collection could be the key to the lifestyle you've always imagined. A wealthy, secure, and abundant future. And now, as we close, I leave you with this final cliffhanger, the one that keeps thousands awake at night. What other treasures are still sitting undiscovered in homes across the United States? Because the 1995 penny is just the beginning. Your drawer might contain the next $1 million story. Your coin jar might be the next viral headline. And your life might be one rare penny away from transformation. So before you leave, check your coins. All of them, because the next big win is already out there, and it's waiting for the person who takes the search seriously. It's waiting for you. Act 1 begins not with a collector, but with an ordinary American who almost threw away the most valuable cent of their lifetime. A simple 1997 D penny, minted in Denver, slipped through millions of hands unnoticed. But one of these coins, carrying a dramatic strike error, turned the entire market upside down. The kind of error that transforms a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure asset. Imagine that for a moment. A coin you can't buy candy with anymore can buy you a luxury car, a down payment on a home, or an entirely new lifestyle. And yes, it is that serious. Because the market for rare US coins isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. Which brings us to the question I know is now forming in your mind. Do I have one of these? Could I? And before you say, probably not, let me interrupt with a little pattern reset and say, if you've ever said, I'll check later, congratulations. You just described the behavior of someone who unknowingly throws away 6-figure coins. So maybe, just maybe, today is your lucky day to actually check. Act 2 begins where most people overlook the real opportunity. You see, the 1997 D penny with the high-value error isn't just rare, it's demanded, aggressively, by high-end collectors and premium auction houses. The specific coin that reached the $765,000 valuation didn't do so by accident. It exhibited a once-in-a-generation misstrike, one so dramatic and undeniable that it pushed collectors into a bidding war, the kind that turns disbelief into adrenaline, and adrenaline into life-changing money. That is why these coins continue rising in worth. They represent not only rarity, but history, prestige, and investment power. Transitioning deeper, what truly drives the price isn't simply the minting mistake. It's the competition to own one. Collectors, investors, and even high-net-worth buyers are entering the market with urgency, because they know a single rare penny error can outperform traditional investments. And the best part? The supply is fixed. No one can create more. Every single rare error still undiscovered is already in someone's home, attic, or drawer. Someone's home. Not the mint, not a museum, not a private vault. A home. Which leads to a simple truth. At this very moment, you could already possess a coin worth hundreds of thousands. But like all opportunities, time is not your friend. Coins in circulation get damaged, lost, mixed, or sold unknowingly. Every day someone out there discovers a rare penny and becomes wealthier. The only question is, will that person eventually be you? Now, before we enter Act 3, let's pause for a quick attention reset. You're looking for a 1997 D penny, but if you picked up a nickel or a dime just now while looking, don't worry. I won't tell anyone, but seriously, focus on the penny. Act 3 begins with empowerment. You now understand the value. You understand the demand. You understand the urgency. But here's where everything becomes transformative. Once people discover the worth hidden in their old coins, everything changes. They stop seeing coins as pocket change and start seeing them as assets capable of reshaping their financial future. And this mindset opens doors. Many collectors who found one valuable coin discovered others, turning a simple search into a luxurious lifestyle upgrade. This is why the rare coin market is not slowing. It's becoming one of the most exciting wealth-building pathways for everyday Americans. But here's the twist, your cliffhanger moment. Because in just a moment, you'll learn the key traits that separate a normal 1997 D penny from the one worth hundreds of thousands. And once you know that, everything changes. Every coin you touch becomes a possibility. Every glance becomes an evaluation. And every drawer becomes a treasure hunt. But before I reveal that, I want you to imagine something powerful. Imagine the feeling of holding a coin that could erase financial stress, open opportunities, or finally give you the lifestyle you've dreamed of. Imagine the shock, the excitement, the pure adrenaline of realizing your penny, your overlooked, ignored penny, could be worth more than most people earn in a year. This is real. This is happening. And yes, it can happen to you. Now let's lean forward into the moment you've been waiting for. The key to identifying the six-figure 1997 D penny lies in a major striking error, an off-center or dramatically misaligned strike so bold that the design shifts visibly. When paired with the correct mint mark, correct date placement, sharp detail, and excellent condition, this penny transforms from common to extraordinarily valuable. These errors are unmistakable. When you see one, you feel it in your gut. You realize instantly that you're holding something special. And here's your final moment of truth. If you have any 1997 D pennies at all, check every single one. Because the coin world is buzzing, collectors are buying, demand is surging, and values like $765,000 don't sit quietly for long. Opportunities like this do not wait. They reward those who so go. Open the drawers, search your jars, inspect the boxes handed down to you. Because if your coin is the next 1997 D error, your life is about to change in the most extraordinary way.